All right. Good morning, everybody. And let's see, we're waiting for Tom to come in and join us. While we're waiting, though, let's go ahead and talk about risk. There's a very high degree of risk involved in trading. And we got Tom joining us today. So, Tom, past performance is not indicative of future results, but it might be worth looking at. So, there is risk in trading, though, and you
There
have to
is, isn't
accept the
there?
risk if you want to be a trader.
There is, there is.
All right. So, what have you got for us this morning, Tom?
Well, first of all, I want to talk a little bit about my T-Buzz three-step because, boy, I've hit a chord with people right and left. I mean, last night we had another meeting at 9 o'clock, and it was a superb meeting. I'm showing people how, and I want to give G Marie credit for this because she's a new student that came in, and she was at the class. She said, "This trade teaches me how to use." She didn't really understand this side of the market and stuff, and she didn't. And she opened a Tasty Trade account, and she said, "This is great because this way I learn terminology, I learn how to set orders." If I do this trade, and it's in the evening when a it's not a time in the evening that is that what I would tell you is busy at 9 o'clock at night. And so I said, I got to get everybody on this, okay? And doing what we do really helps people understand the makeup and the importance of reference bars. And uh, so we did that, and everybody jumped on last night. We had so many people that joined. Um, we had something going there. But Chuck, it was so amazing watching those students adapt to it face to face in the class. And they're going to come back for other classes. That tells you a lot. And I'm with Rob today on a one-on-one. He just told me I'm coming back for another this. I've had my eyes open in the first hour of sitting here with you on one-on-one. I said, well, Rob, I don't like to do a lot of these because they are it's pretty busy. But the idea is that if you want to put your money in the market, you better learn how to do it or they'll take it. That's my opinion, Chuck. The other thing, folks, Chuck pulled me aside. He said, Tom, he said, why isn't everybody in your uh, T-Buzz Talk and Trade? I said, Chuck, it's been hard to convince people to come in, but the bottom line is we got a set number, a lot of people in there. He said, well, let me talk about it today. So I'm going to let Chuck, after I get off, talk about T-Buzz Talk and Trade because every student ever sees me face to face says it's unbelievable system that I've developed. And I use it as a research lab as well as a trading lab. And we tie all the trades to our train and trade. And plus we do other trades in there too. We did a few and like we got paid this morning on an XBI trade in TNT. Uh, that paid for this month about 10 times over. So if you're trying to learn about it, it's a Telegram channel that I can reach out to you day and night, and I do. So if you don't want me to wake you up sometimes early in the morning, cut the sound down because I get up early. But Chuck, that's my opinion.
All right, great. So, why don't you tell everybody about the weekly newsletter? I know you guys release this Monday night, and I think Tom, if I'm not mistaken, you're still very bullish on gold and silver, and a good thing given what they're doing today.
Of course, I'm bullish on it. And in fact, if you go look at it, it's my stock of the day. It's been my stock of the week. I talked to somebody on the phone. I don't know if David's here. He called me to ask me a question, and I said, "You ought to buy this spread on gold," and he did. And I just heard it go tick tick tick. Okay, uh, meaning he got paid. But this is a newsletter we put out every Monday, and I like it because it gives you a document to follow for the whole week, and it takes the Monday night planning to a new level by being a member here, $9.99 for a year. Okay. David was in the class. He's a silver trader now, made 4,000 overnight being part of my Futures First. Way to go, David. I'm telling you, folks, if you're not part of Futures, you ought to slap yourself. Bill was right. I can teach you what you need to know and get you with the education and things I've done there. I think it's pretty legendary for people to take it, because I had the good fortune to be in a lot of different things over the years, and I think it helps people. All right.
Yeah, and Tom, just a preview. Later today, we're going to be putting out that weekly bonus. Let me just tell you guys this: SLV opened the week at 46.94. They made a high earlier today at 49. So that's a nice move. That being the silver. GLD, if you're tracking that one, might be a little bit bigger. Like, where did GLD open the week? They opened the week at 376.50.
Remember, I told people on the tickers, the 10 tickers, get long GLD this week. Fed done it. I counted up last night, it's about 1,400 on 100 shares. Now it's probably up to close to 1,800 just from that. So if you listen, somebody says, here's what one of my students said: Tom, if people will listen to you, they'll make money. And I said, yeah, they got to listen.
Yeah, so GLD up to about 393 after opening the week at 376. That's a strong move right there.
Right.
But let's see, we got Retirement Center, Education Telegram.
Yeah, listen to this, Chuck. I said, I'm not going to charge for this year. I said, I will share with you what I'm doing in my retirement account, and I'll show you how I manage my retirement account money. And all you got to do is join, go to the Telegram channel. It's free, and we have a meeting. We have a meeting just about every week. I don't know if we'll have one this week. Probably don't need one this week, but we'll have one next week for sure. And but I go through the portfolios and give techniques specifically dedicated for retirement money, and people are loving it. Some of our stocks in there are done quite well. I showed them how to supercharge a money market fund. We put the money that was left over into the SPY, and that's paying a lot more than interest off of a money fund. I can tell you that. Anyway, but if you are interested, join there. If you open an account, I'd prefer you open one with tastytrade, because tastytrade is probably the easiest platform I've seen for trading. Once you get experience, maybe you move on, but go to the, if you do open it, send an email to Roe@DTI Trader. You can use DTI as your referral link, or he's got a long one he'll give you, but give us credit if you do that. And speaking of that, I need a little help from those that have opened a tastytrade account. You had to put 2,000 in there. I was talking to Emily from tastytrade yesterday, and we only had like 3 people that qualified for the referral. What I'm trying to do, I want to get to 1,000 people, and that way we'll have some stroke, and I'll go in and negotiate. If you're one of that group, you'll get some different commissions that you're paying, because at 1,000, I'll go up there and meet with the heads of tastytrade and say, look, give us lower fees and stuff. So I need people to open an account there, give us credit for it, get in our group, and then you got to let us know, because I'm talking to Emily, trying to keep up. I was very shocked when all the people said they opened an account and only 3 made the line. So send Jonathan an email at Roe@DTI Trader if you open an account, where they'll track it down. Your phone number and your email, and if you got the account number, put that there for him to track it down. Okay. Willis, it doesn't count. It was 5 years ago. No, I'm talking about new people. Buck, I think it will. If you open a new account, it will. Send it to Jonathan, and we'll track it, and we'll find out. but you'll be in the group for sure. Does everybody understand where I'm going with this? That's why I'm not charging for the retirement service. I'm trying to build a base of about 1,000 people in Tasty Trade where I can cut a deal for all of us. Okay, that's where I'm going. 1,000 these brokers will bend over backwards to help us. Okay. Neil, I don't think they gave me credit for yours. I didn't see your name on the list, so be sure to send Jonathan an email because I know you did it. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Don't mention that because they don't know what my move's going to be. Because after I get 1,000, I'm going to start dictating a little bit about some stuff. But right now, I'm going to play along. I'm just telling my group what I'm planning on. Now, this is my gold program. Goodness gracious. Only thing I can say, save some money, join the gold program, talk to Kelly Barber, talk to Jeffrey Andraka or Corrine. I told them to take care of you if you called. So y'all do me a favor. If you're interested in gold, call them. Send Janet, why don't you send the problem you had to Jonathan and we'll pass it along to Emily up there and see what's going on, okay? Sherry, I think you were one of the three that popped up. But thank y'all for doing that. It's going to pay off big time for us if we work together. All right, let's keep going. Jonathan, why don't you handle this, the October FTD stocks?
Okay, I updated this about 10 minutes before we went live. What you're looking at here, you want to look at the current price and you want to compare it to both the monthly open and the 3-day numbers. If we're above the 3-day high for the month, like gold is, 42.77 price when I took this. Month open 38.87, month first 3-day high 39.23. We're above that by a long shot. So that's why gold says long. Crude oil opened the month at 62.5 or so, went down to 60.40 in the first 3 days, and it's currently, or at least a few minutes ago, was at 57.80, below those numbers. That's why it says short. Now, Tom's been short crude and Tom's been long gold. Imagine that. The S&P and the NASDAQ, though, are a little bit mixed. The S&P's got to get above 6,800, and the NASDAQ's got to get above 25,196. Not too far off, especially when it comes to the NASDAQ. The S&P is a little bit further away. But as Tom always says, and everybody here probably knows by now, most of the stocks are going to follow the path of the S&P 500. So if the S&P can get above 6,800, things will be looking better here. But let's look down the list, scan through it real quick. REMX is a brand new stock added. That's a rare earth metals ETF, REMX. Tom added that during our small class in Jacksonville this past week. I think that's the newest addition here to this list. Make note of that. The other new addition along, as we went through the month was GLW. That one's looking pretty good. We like it above 86 especially. And I'm just going to scan through the list so you can kind of see the snapshot of things. With the S&P and the NASDAQ not above that high, you're going to see more of a mixed look. But overall, market's hanging in there. We're holding the week opens. 67.25 is the month open on the S&P. That's the big number that market's been trying to hold all week long. And we're sitting here at 67.40 right now. But again, above the 3-day numbers, we're going to be looking much better if we can get that to happen here in the second half of the month. We are here for Train and Trade Monday through Friday, September, actually in October now. Slide needs to be updated. Every day at 11 Eastern. And we've been doing this since I think July or August. We're having fun doing it, so we're going to keep doing it every day Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If Tom misses a trade, which he often does inside the trading trade, and if the S&P were to get above that 6,800, start to put together some higher highs, higher lows, you can be certain that Tom will be trading a lot more active. And if we trade inside trading trade, it'll be posted to the T-Buzz Talk and Trade service, which Adam just posted a link to get joined from that. And you'll hear Chuck talk about that here in just a moment. It's probably Tom's best service, T-Buzz Talk and Trade. Today's focus, though, is on 5 stocks to focus on in October, for the second half of October. I talked to Tom this morning. He gave me the 5 stocks. So let's go through them real quick. First one is GLD, of course. What you're looking at is a chart of our MTI indicator inside Thinkorswim. And believe it or not, MTI has had gold long ever since way back here. You see this green arrow right here. Let me circle it. Right here. Back in August. And you kind of see this gray line shift right here. That was the start of September. It never looked back. Gray line shifted again in October. And you can see these MTI white lines are stair-stepping up. That is the best bullish viewpoint you want to look at. And GLD is a perfect example for a bullish stock on MTI, what we're looking for. So let's look at some more key numbers on GLD. It opened the week at 240, or opened the year, excuse me, at 242.22. Green means we're above it. It opened the month at 356. We're above that. Opened the week at 376. We're above that. The October FTD high was 358, and the October FTD low was 351. When I grabbed the price a moment ago, it was at 392. All right, Tom's price on the 10 tickers for the week, GLD was part of that list, was 374.55. You can do the math. GLD is up 18 points. Any kind of bullish strategy used on that ticker this week would have made you money. Absolutely. All right. GLD, the top ticker from the 10 tickers of the week. Sunday planning, Tom gives those 10 tickers every single week. One of the benefits of tuning into his free session on Sunday night, big benefit from tuning in, just being there. You get his 10 tickers. Number 2 stock, of course, if GLD was on the list, SLV's got to be there too. That's how we look on MTI by DTI, a very similar picture as we saw with GLD. Look at those MTI lines. Stair stepping up and to the right. That's what we want to see. Here's some more data on SLV. You can see it's above all those key opens, year open, month open, week open. That paints the picture pretty clearly for you. SLV was also on the 10 tickers. Above 46.55 was his trigger. And Chuck said it hit 49 this week. So another winning trade there. Any kind of bullish strategy would have paid off there on SLV once it got above 46.55. So that's 2 of the 5. Let's go to the next one. NVIDIA. Now this is good. This is important. NVIDIA is painting a little bit different picture, isn't it? But NVIDIA is the top stock on Wall Street, so we got to pay attention. We got to pay attention. That's what it looks like on MTI. You can see that gray line is the month open, so we're below the month open. That means you're not trying to buy NVIDIA right now. You're not trying to buy cheap on NVIDIA. We never do that. So it's got to capture that month open line first. And then we want to see those white lines get above the white lines, which are the MTI lines. See if it can kind of reestablish itself into a bullish trend. Right now, and in general, a stock that's below its month open is not in a bullish trend that's worth trading. That's the way we view things. At DTI, we hope you follow suit. Here's some more numbers on NVIDIA. Very bullish on the year. It opened the year at 136. But look at all those reds. So it's below the month open, it's below the week open, and it's below the 3-day high and low. All right. So the stock has some work to do. And there's your key numbers. There's your key numbers right there for the month of October. Got about half the month left. We'll see if the stock can recapture those key opens in the first 3 days numbers for the rest of October. Maybe it won't, which will set up November for another chance for the stock to reestablish itself as the leader. We'll see, but there's your key numbers on NVIDIA. Next up on Tom's list, QQQ. All right, QQQ. It overall looks pretty good. It's just not quite above the 3-day high from October. All right, so 607.16 is the number on QQQ. And finally, we got the SPY. We already talked about how 75% of stocks or so, sometimes more, sometimes less, will follow the S&P 500. Well, the SPY's got to get above 670.57. That's the 3-day high for October. SPY's got to get above 670.57. If it can do that, things are going to be looking pretty good here for most of your stocks. All right, Tom did us all a favor here. Typing in a target for gold futures of 4,500. What I'm going to do real quick is take you over to the Roadmap software and show you a feature of the roadmap called the Moneymaker. I'll just name it gold. Maybe manage the symbols here. Let me type in gold futures. And underneath that, I'll type in GLD. So with gold futures being our first market here, that's going to count as our benchmark market. And the Moneymaker feature, what it does is it gives you relative moves. So if I set the gold top number here to 4,500, it's going to calculate out, the roadmap will calculate out how GLD is moving relative to gold futures right now. And it's saying if gold futures can get up to 4,500, GLD can get up to 408. Now, there's your target on GLD if you're using 4,500 gold futures. All right. So where is gold futures right now? So open up the chart of gold futures, daily chart. It's at 42.86. Where is GLD right now? It's at 392.88. All right, so that's what roadmap is saying. All right, and GLD is obviously directly correlated to gold futures, so that's a pretty good print there.
Thanks for doing that, Jonathan, because that saved me the trouble from doing exactly what I was going to do. Great question. Great question. So that's the beauty of having the knowledge of the different tools that we develop, because you could go do that and all of a sudden you got numbers to play with, right? Those numbers are outstanding when you're trying to, make some money, right? And that's what we do by doing that. In other words, putting it out there and everything. So, all right, let's just keep going. Back to the slides, maybe.
Yep. And folks, the goal is pretty simple here at DTI. Over the weekend, Tom does hours upon hours of studying with one goal: to keep you on the winning side of the market. Now, that's a pretty good goal, isn't it? So the best way that I've seen Tom do this over the years is to give you stocks and trigger prices for entry, targets, all that good stuff. And just like he did Sunday night. Remember the planning session every Sunday night? Again, that's a free session. You get Tom's 10 tickers for the week. He gives you breakout numbers or breakdown numbers. And this week, obviously, the focus was on GLD. Remember that GLD trade? It was up 15 points this morning when Tom posted this morning. It's up 18 points more now. So GLD still screaming high, looking real good. But just that one trade in GLD, depends on how you played it, but could easily erase a lot of sins, as Tom calls it. Pay for your T&D subscription for the next 3 years. Depends on your trade size. You did the math. It was a fantastic trade. 18 points from his trigger. You don't see that every week, but that was certainly one to remember right there. GLD this week. And in a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Chuck to talk about the T-Buzz Talk and Trade program. But if you love the top 10, right, if you love the idea of getting 10 tickers every week with a breakout and breakdown number to trade it from, you're going to really love T-Buzz Talk and Trade, because it's not just 10 stocks for the week. It's not just 5 stocks for the month like we gave you here for Train and Trade. You get 5 stocks every single morning. That's right. Every single morning the market is open, Tom's giving you 5 stocks. He calls it his Magic 5. There's the Magic 5 from this morning. GLD 390.55. If you hadn't jumped on the GLD trade yet, well, Tom's trigger this morning was 90.55, and GLD just hit 93.15. Excuse me, 393.15. That's confusing by 393.15. So another great trade setup. It's kind of like another day, another trade on GLD. Folks, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to turn it over to Chuck. You can share your screen if you want, Chuck. He's going to go through everything that Tom offers for TNT, and it's a lot. So tune in.
One reason I wanted Chuck to do this is because he was so adamant in the class about why don't we have 1,000 people in there? And I said, well, Chuck, I'm gonna let you try. So y'all support Chuck. I want to listen myself.
You should be able to hear me now.
Yeah, loud and clear, Chuck. Hear you.
Okay. So, how would you like to be in that seat? Now, some of you were in that seat this past weekend. Jonathan and I were down there with Tom, had a few students in the classroom, and that one-on-one attention. You can see Tom is getting engaged in that with a student right now. We got another class coming up in December. How would you like to be in that seat? How would you like to hear firsthand what Tom is thinking? Well, if you can't make it down to Jacksonville, TNT is probably the next best opportunity. For nearly 30 years, Tom wanted to create a war room where he could provide real time actionable ideas and alerts directly to DTI students. It's one thing to give you a strategy, one trade per week in a service, or even a tool that helps you, but he wanted to create something that gave you real access to him. So you get to see what Tom is thinking in real time, not just for a 3-day event, which is what our live classes are about. By the way, I would recommend everybody look into that, or even for a certain trading session, but 24/7 real time access that allowed him to communicate directly to his students. So that's what the TNT room is about, right? So whether it's 7 a.m. in the pre market, a breakout trade in the middle of the day, or an overnight setup late at night, maybe 8 p.m., the 3-step, some of you guys might be familiar with that. Tom didn't want to follow any rules about what kind of updates he could send. He wanted to be able to send his own information. He didn't want to follow rules about what type of assets he could focus on. He didn't even want to wait for the team to send the info to his students. And if you've seen how that works, hey, I got an idea. Jonathan, where are you? Can you type this up for me? No, let's just go ahead and get that straight into the system. Right? So instead, he wanted to provide his best actionable ideas at a moment's notice with zero filters. Think about it. If you came and sat right with Tom and he's looking at the market and says, hey, I see something, you're there. He wouldn't have to worry about the timing or logistics to share his ideas. Adam, we need to work on those slides. Got to do some edits. Wouldn't need to wait on the logistics to share his ideas. He would just be able to speak them. wouldn't only be able to tell you about the ideas that fit a certain type of trade, he could simply share every money-making opportunity he saw with you. Imagine how much impact that would have on your trading. After 27 years, he's finally been able to open that opportunity to DTI students. It's one of the beauties of Telegram. And this is T-Buzz Talk in Trade. Now, how many of you are in the room or in that TNT Telegram channel? Find out what we're dealing with here, because I know we've got a bunch. We get a lifer. Yeah, we got a bunch of you guys in there. I'm trying to look through. Let's see. What do we got now? Over 300 people in that room, and we'd love to have more. So anybody who's coming along and wants to see what's going on with the markets, this is a great place to be. I'm not sure who my desktop is, but yeah, I was about to say we need to put that out there. Talk and Trade helped me pull my near dead small account back to life. Both were under 2,000, now both above 5. Having access to Tom and his methods daily is invaluable. There you go. I agree completely. So here are 5 must knows about the market each day that we give you inside the TNT Telegram channel. All right, good to see you, Mark. Number 1, projected tops and bottoms in the market for today. We're looking at support and resistance here. So what are the big support numbers? What are the big resistance numbers? Of course, we know the market can move past them. I mean, all you have to do is watch the past few days. We know that these markets can get very exciting. Moneymaker is a great feature for that. We post it 3 to 5 times a day throughout the day, or 3 to 5 times daily, I guess. And you can see what we were looking at last night. Got that 67.45 number. Be great to see if the market can get above it. Where are we at right now? We're back down, playing around with the open of the month around the 25 area. And then the sell area is 66.75. I know Tom really likes that number. Jonathan and I keep trying to remind him, 66.80 is the FTD first 3-day low. But that's 66.75, just a little bit extra. You can see how it puts the QQQ 599.17. So these are pretty solid numbers here, and we're going to keep going and keep updating. We'll change those points of support and resistance as the market changes. And again, you'll see that posted in the T-Buzz Talk and Trade room. Number 2, know the pivot from each time zone during the day. Every part of the market has characteristic changes. We know that early in the morning with RB3, we've got the Europeans along with us. After the Genesis bar, they've gone and taken a seat. Dinner's very important. Take some time out from trading, sit down to eat dinner, and get ready for the next opportunity. So when we hit that European cash close, which we hit 8 minutes ago, the market changes, and we want to see how that develops. You'll see our numbers. These are October 9th and 10th, but these get updated. There's one in there from RB3 this morning in that T-Buzz Talk and Trade channel. But we're looking at reference bar 1. That's the Asian market. That's that first half hour of the overnight session. Europe, that's after the European markets have come online. We get to see what they think or how their interpretation is affecting our markets. RB3 is the U.S. morning. Now, RB3 open this morning was actually 67.31 quarter. So you can see we're a little bit below where we were on Friday before everything started dropping. And then you see the Genesis bar on Friday. And those of you who are in this program, you saw the live development leading up to the beginning of Train and Trade, as we're doing a lot of research to make sure you have the information you need. And this is part of the information that you needed on that Friday. 66.59 was the low of the Genesis bar, 67.05 the high. We all saw where the market got down to. So we try and be timely with this, get it out to you as quick as possible. We've already done RB3 this morning, and we'll be looking for the Genesis bar at the top of the hour. Connect the dots, what we're looking for. Tape reading 101. What direction are these moving? Now, this is from Wednesday, and so that's Wednesday night, actually. That would have been today's market, 67.15 quarter. RB2 with Europe, 67.27.50. RB3, US morning, 67.31 quarter. What direction is that market moving? Is it going up or is it going down? We're back at 67.25, so it might be kind of a mute point. We're still trying to find direction in this market. But when we look at just those reference bar opens, what direction are we moving? Is 67.31 quarter higher or lower than 67.27.50? Anybody got an answer on that one? It's higher. Thank you, Cindy. Right. So we do see that the market is struggling to try and make that top end move. When we take a look at the open of the next reference bar, which will be the Genesis bar, I can tell you right now that is going to be 67.19 quarter. So it sort of breaks things up, right? It's bringing things back in. Here's the thing, though. It's still above RB1, the open of the day, at 67.15 quarter. I say still above. It actually went down to 67.12. Genesis bar is currently developing. I'm paying attention to more than one thing. Let's see if we can get through a few things here. Number 3, Tom's Daily Pivot is always published between 5 and 6 a.m. Eastern time. And I believe that's from Jonathan's Telegram. He's in Mobile, so he's on Central time. You see that 4:06 a.m. That's actually 5:06 a.m. Eastern time. Tom giving us the pivot. Pretty easy one this morning, 67.25, the monthly open. You guys could probably figure that out. It's not always that easy. Sometimes the market wants to be a little bit difficult. And when it is, make sure you're following on the T-Buzz Talk and Trade channel. Keep it simple. A fall below the pivot takes the bulls off the board. So we saw a bullish market coming in, and now we've got the market back below that 67.25. So you got to take a step back and figure out what's next. The Magic 5 stocks, these are Tom's Magic 5, and this is what he put out this morning. Again, 4:05 a.m. Central Time, 5:05 a.m. Eastern. But that's KGC with 2711, GLD with 390, TQQQ 105.55, QQQ at 605.55, and the SPY at 667.55. All these numbers are going to be updated every morning. Make sure you check that and find out. Post special insights daily inside the channel. You'll see these little pictures. He's posting a picture of his custom page there, last change, high and low, give you an idea of what the market's going with. And you see his assessment, market fighting headwind to climb, watch RB3. So that headwind, you're seeing it in real time right now as the S&P futures have just dropped to 67.1375. Might be trying to make a new daytime low. 67.0250 was the overnight low. And this is, let's see, RB3 high 67.45. And see the information here we're looking at. Is that the Genesis bar developing? Or no, that would have been an hour ago. Okay, gotcha. So 10:30 Eastern, you can see the way the market's developing. You got the reference bar, 45 quarter to 24 quarter, and then you see what the market was doing right in that time frame. It's changed a little bit, so keep moving here. How much value do you get with TNT? Well, let's ask people what they think. What do you guys think? On a scale of 1 to 10, type it into the chat. What do you think of that TNT Telegram channel? Is it a 10 valuable information, 10 plus, okay? Or is it a lower number and you've got a suggestion of things that you might want to see in there that would make it better for you? Because we are all about continuing that development. So don't be afraid to criticize, although I'm not seeing much criticism in this room right now. So I appreciate that, guys, but still, I wanna get it better and better, try and get better all the time. Pete giving us a 10 plus and it's getting better all the time. That's the best of both worlds. So let's summarize everything that Talk and Trade members will get. Morning market direction, pre-market watch list, bonus live streams. So if we see something that we want to talk about, we'll let you know and go online. 24/5 urgent trade updates. We do like our weekends around here, especially during football season. Reference bars and income and other bonus trades. So bonus opportunities within the T-Buzz Talk and Trade Room. Most recent trade this week, Tom was looking at XBI, November 21st expiration, 107.110 debit call spread. Entry of 125, exit at 143, nice little 14% return. So if you're risking $1,000 on that, turn that into a quick 140. T&T results have been outstanding, 198 winners. Now there have been some losers, 57 of them, but that's a 77.3 accuracy rate. I can tell you, Tom usually does better than that. We are going into the fourth quarter. I expect those numbers to improve. But I don't, it's tough to improve on a profit factor of 2.59%, but we're going to try. We're going to do our best to make it better. So now is the best time to get involved. We are deep into the fourth quarter here, and this is the time that Tom really loves to trade. So I expect those numbers to improve. They're already great. I expect them to start to be excellent. So just go to dtitrader.com/TNT to secure your spot right now. And if I can get that link posted into the chat, if you're watching the slides, you can click on the slide right there. But we see if we can get that link posted into the chat room for you guys. This would be $200 per month. If we can't get that link posted, just make sure you call 904-706-3532. I'm going to see if I can just go ahead and type the link in there. Let's see, http://dtitrader.com. Well, there you go. Thank you. Had two of you guys posting it as I'm typing. Appreciate that. Reminder, today's recording will be found via the live tab at dtitrader.com/YouTube. Already got through everything. Okay. All right. So anybody have any questions about TNT while we're sitting here? I looked at the number of slides that Adam gave me to talk about, and I was like, man, I gotta go quick on that to be done by 11 and or done by 11 Central. And I gave myself an extra 12 minutes here. So we need more of those slides where you say, and now I'm going to talk about this. That way I stick on that slide and talk about it a little bit longer. Pays for itself. Yeah, Bob, I agree. Definitely a great product. We are going to be posting the Genesis bar up in there a few minutes after it concludes. And let's see, let me do this. Let me just squeeze out of that. Move this up here. I feel a little bit blind when I can't see my roadmap. So you guys get to watch my roadmap with me. 67.08 quarter is the Russell futures down there. But the S&P futures coming down a little bit. See if they want to challenge that overnight low. We already have weakness in the Russell futures. Tighten that chart up a little bit. And you can see this Genesis bar is trying to change the picture of the market. Now remember, with Genesis, you've got a possible change is that low of the Genesis bar going to be the low of the day and the market turn around on it, or will there be a continuation? So that's what everybody's watching for. Roadmap update. Okay, I've got the September version of Roadmap, and that's a fun one. So I'll need to check for those updates. But that September version of Roadmap, I like it because when I leave it up and running overnight, come in the morning and get all the information about the stocks, so everything's filling in, makes my life a little bit easier in terms of researching. Just came out today. Well, I'm going to wait a little bit, probably about a week before I push that. Want to make sure that you guys like it well enough. Latest version of Roadmap is the October 15th. Well, tell you what, if you've got access to that, go to that, make sure you get it, and let me know how great it is. I'm sure there's a bunch of new tools in there. You would need to go to the website, go to One Click Trader and log in there with your username and password. Scroll over to the roadmap software area and click into that. You'll see the instructions on how to download and update. All right. Now, to join the Telegram channel, that's easy. You just go to dtitrader.com/TNT and let us know what you're looking at. But we're going to put it all out there. Now, should be noted, get the little disclaimer, profits and performance shown are not typical. We make no future earnings claim, and you may lose money. That's what we got. And see about replaying a stream. I know they're looking to find out what they want to do.
Yeah, Chuck, here's the update. So that's a great one, I think. You can see on my roadmap here, there's a 1 above that blue bar right there. That's reference bar 1 last night. Makes it very clear. Here's a 2. There's RB2. There's RBX on our first white bar. Here's RB3. And we got RBY finishing up right here. Y is a little bit, looks like on the current bar, see that Y, it shifts over a little bit, but that's
Yeah,
RBY forming. Pretty cool stuff they added there. Because a lot of people ask, what, which white bar that is, which blue bar that is. Well, we don't make you search. We don't make you put your mouse over the candle to, find out which bar it is. It's right there listed for you now. We're forming Genesis. You know what Tom says about Genesis? 4 to 5 days, it'll mark the higher the bottom, higher the low. Well, the low of the day was 67.02. We've come down to 67.06. So we have a clear picture forming here. If we break below Genesis and get below 67.02, well, we would be expecting lower prices intraday here. But we know what Genesis often brings. So we'll see if this low can hold today. If the low holds, odds are they'll probably try to trade it back up a little bit, at least to that 67.25 level, which is the month open.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
I was about to say, if you really want to know if it's trying to turn around, that 67.25, huge number. And to get back above the high of that Genesis bar, you have to pass 67.25. So the Genesis bar very defining here on this Thursday.
Right. Well, Chuck, great job. I'm going to replay today's session for those that want to stick around and listen to it. Maybe you weren't able to show up until a little bit afterwards. We'll replay it, and then we'll see what the market brings the rest of the day.
yeah, Neil, to update your roadmap, number one, you would need to shut it down. So I'd recommend not doing it until the end of the day. But then you just go to the one-click trading, the way you normally log in, click over to roadmap, and you'll find a link in there about installation. Go ahead and click that. Download the newest installation, run it. It'll overwrite what you've already got. When next time you open your roadmap, it'll be updated.